Why did you have to merge those two together, from hair into restaurant?
Well, thank God you told my backstory, how we started, you know, the little space.
Yes.
I mean, we started in England. Goodhair started in England.
Okay.
We eventually
Moved to
had
Nigeria.
to open something in Nigeria. And it wasn't even something, honestly, my journey is so God-driven because I cannot tell you any time that I've sat down and thought, what do I want to do in the next 10 years?
Yes,
What do I want
I
to
can
I've never done that.
imagine.
I don't even do that because
So
I
that's
just,
setting goals, like people always say you have to set goals.
I don't think it's really, I mean, it's important for
It
certain
is,
people,
yes.
you know, but for my life, honestly, God has just
This is
always
your
been the
story.
director and the driver of everything that I do.
How did you start? How did you even bear the idea even way back in school?
Nigerians say you're a leader of tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
But then
yes.
now look at those people. They told us that when we were in there. We were 10,
20, 30, 40, and they're still there.
So yes, I had a lot of energy and I wanted to do things a certain way and I was rude here and I was doing that. Eventually, I was fired.
Were you able to use any of your knowledge in promoting your business?
It's so complicated because I'm such a multifaceted person. I mean, we started in England. Goodhair started in England. We eventually had to open something in Nigeria.
All hair is processed. You cannot take hair from a donor and put it into your head.
Once you're a public figure, you become a target.
Look at all the companies we started. We have board members from Nigeria, but also from around the world because we want to build world-class companies that outlive us.
Welcome to Omon's Couch, an entrepreneurship and career talk show where we help young entrepreneurs and professionals reach their full potential. My name is Omon Odike, your darling host, and I'll be bringing you amazing guests who have seen it all to educate and inspire you with their stories. Our guest today is a multifaceted luminary, excelling across diverse fields. With more than a decade of business experience, she has made an indelible mark as a lawyer, entrepreneur, philanthropist, coach, influencer, and a reality TV star on the set of Real Housewives of Lagos. She's none other than barrister Chioma Ikokwu. Let's welcome her to Omon's Couch. Wow, I have the fashionista, entrepreneur, beautiful lady with so much energy and different expressions of herself. I am so happy, Chioma, to have you today.
Thank you.
And you look amazing as always.
Just like you.
I'm sure you understand. This is, in fact, this is going to be a fashion segment. Let us just not even play at all. Everybody who wants to know the secret behind Chioma as a person, as a businesswoman, as a fashion-forward lady, today is the day she's going to spill it all. And I can't wait to hear because I'm learning from you. Don't tell me that I'm near you at all because maybe before when you started, but now you have passed and transcended global spaces. And you look super amazing today. I'm happy to have you. So Chioma, now the big name, Chioma Ikokwu, the brand, a force to reckon with in Nigeria and globally. I need to find out from you. Tell our viewers, who is Chioma Ikokwu? Who is this woman? How do you want people to see you? Talk to us. Tell us. Before I even go into your journey, just speak to us about the brand, Chioma Ikokwu.
I always find that question so complicated because I'm such a multifaceted person, you know, as you must know. So sort of like combining it into like a short sentence is really difficult.
Yes.
I think first of all, if anything, I'm very family oriented. You know, my family comes first.
I see that a lot.
Aside from loving my family so much, being completely obsessed with them, I'm also very God focused, and I think that that's the side that people don't even see at all. You know, and I feel like a lot of the time people expect like somebody who's like a Jesus baby to look a certain way. You know. They don't marry loving Jesus and looking nice, good, dressing well, having long hair. It's like
it's two separate people.
Spectrum, you know?
And you must post that you go to church every day. If not, it's
or that you're
like
praying or you're worshiping. Otherwise, it's like you know,
she doesn't think
for real. So that's a side that is very dear to me, but I feel like people don't really know of. Aside from that, obviously business is my forte. I love business. I love to make money. You know, I have different businesses. Anything that I'm passionate about and I know that money could be made from it, I jump on that. You know, of course, you know, education wise, I'm a lawyer, practiced a little bit, still do like private practice, you know, now and again. But you know how law is in Nigeria. And then of course I've got my foundation.
Yeah.
GoodWay
No,
Foundation.
let us not go into everything in one sentence. I mean, we have a lot of questions for you today, and I'm sure our viewers right here who are also fashion enthusiasts and people who love fashion and people who want to go into the business of hair as well as any other thing that you actually do would like to hear more about your story. You're a barrister, a lawyer. How did you pivot into entrepreneurship? Because your story seems to be very fascinating, and many people do not know that you started several years ago. They just thought that you just made the company and you just maybe stole the money from somewhere, but they didn't know that you've been there since what year was that?
So Goodhair started in 2009.
And I remember meeting you, and I can share your humble beginning a bit so that it gives it that authenticity that it actually has. I remember you being in a very small shop behind one very funny place like that, and the place was not even so well lit, but you tried. It was very neat, very clean, and you were selling hair to everybody. And your hair was different. Your hair was, I mean, then you used to call it luxury, regardless. You loved your brand and you were selling it. And from then on, 2009 till now, that's how many years now we're talking? That's over like, if I do my maths
this year will be
correct,
15 years.
15 years. And they ask, what is Chioma doing? Chioma is an entrepreneur. Please speak to us about your journey.
So it started in 2009. I was in the University of Birmingham in England. Likewise, my business partner, Kika, weren't actually in the same uni, but you know, she was also in Birmingham at the time. And I just loved hair. It wasn't really anything that I sort of like thought, oh, I want to go into business and this is, you know, the business that I want to do. No, I was just a hair lover. My hair always looked good, you know, but at the time hair was so expensive. It wasn't feasible for a student. You know, all my pocket money would go into buying literally one small weave, you know, and I was like, this is not sustainable. I cannot manage. And I loved it so much that I always wanted to try like a different look. And at the time, I didn't like to repurpose my hair. Now people, you know, tend to do that. If you have like a really long wig and you want a different look, you just cut it or curl it. No, I wanted my straight hair to be my straight hair. I wanted wavy to be wavy. I wanted long to be long, short to be short. So I was buying and buying and buying. It was too expensive. And so one day I started doing research online, you know, because I was like, obviously these people are getting it from somewhere. It's not coming off their head. I knew that they would, you know, buy hair from like India, and because then it was really India that people would get.
Not China at all.
China was not even anywhere close to, you know,
hair
being what it is now. They hadn't even caught up onto human hair at the time. So, you know, I started doing research, you know, just different countries, and then I found these suppliers in India, and I was like, actually, you know, let me try and see, you know, what their hair is like. So I ordered the hair, and luckily for me, it was really good quality. You know, I wasn't buying it to sell; it was just for my, you know, my own personal use. And of course, I didn't want to buy the same price I'd been buying it for. And so I remember that day, I installed like 5 or 6 bundles. My hair was so full like Tina Turner, but it looked really nice. And I went to uni, got to my department, and like 3 of the black girls, I didn't have that many black students in my uni, but the 3 that I did have, they came and they were like, oh my God, your hair's so nice, you know, where'd you get it from? And as a true Igbo girl, even though I wasn't thinking business, on that spot, I was like, I know how I suffered to get these supplies, I'm not giving out their details. So I just told them.
Oh, you didn't give them the details?
Of course not. I was like, oh, I have it for sale.
Okay.
I didn't have it for sale at the time, but I just said, I was like, I have it for sale. And they were like, okay, how much is it? And I told them the same price that, you know, I used to pay, you know, the initial people that I used to buy it from. And they were like, okay, sure, we would love to buy it.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, okay.
So that ignited
that was
the whole
that is how
love
the idea of
sale.
Goodhair came about.
Yes.
I sold everything. So I'd ordered like maybe 12 bundles just for myself. I'd installed like, I don't know, 5. Whatever I had left, I sold it immediately. And they paid. So I was like, do you know what? I've got a bit of cash on me, you know.
You can go and buy more.
I could go and buy more. Did that, you know, also spoke to my now business partner, Kika, at the time. Because I'd never done like a proper business.
But we are already friends. 2 of you were
So we had
friends.
become friends, yes.
Okay.
We'd become friends at the time. But she was the only other person that I knew that loved hair and loved to look good. You know,
similar
similar interests,
passion, and everything. Yeah.
I was like, you know what, if I'm going to even start this into a business, I need somebody who is going to be thinking in the same direction as me. Kika was also vain. She liked to look good, and you know, she was just a very sharp person. So I was like, you know what, let me ask her and see what she thinks. So I was like, Kika, you know, what do you think? I think we can make good money from this thing. She's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. She's very easygoing. That's her personality. I'm more like, you know, strategic. I want this, I want that. Yes. And
she's ready to go with the flow.
She's like, sure, let's do it. And it was just perfect. You know, we got our suppliers, started selling this hair, and literally that is how Goodhair started.
Wow. And I know right now you actually, in fact, when you launch your major store, you actually also launched the Brads and Cooper. I think it's a restaurant.
The restaurant,
yes, the restaurant. Why did you have to mesh those two together, from hair into restaurant?
Well, thank God you told my backstory, how we started, you know, the little space. I mean, we started in England. Goodhair started in England. We eventually had to open something in Nigeria. And it wasn't even something, honestly, my journey is so God-driven, because I cannot tell you any time that I've sat down and thought, what do I want to do in the next 10 years?
Yes,
what do I want in the next? I've never done that. I don't even do that, because
so that's setting goals. Like people always say, you have to set goals.
I don't think it's really. I mean, it's important for certain people, you know. But for my life, honestly, God has just always been the director and the driver of everything that I do. You know, we had no plans of setting up Goodhair in Nigeria. I didn't have any plans of moving to Nigeria at all. It was not in my purview. And the business,
why are you running away from Nigeria? It's not that bad. And you've done a lot of good stuff,
honestly,
here.
And this is why I said it's God-driven. Because if anyone had said Nigeria, I'd be like, for what?
For what?
I didn't really understand the terrain. I moved when I was 12.
Ooh,
you know,
you're very young.
All my friends were now in England. Everything that I knew was in England. So moving to Nigeria is like telling me, Chioma, get up now and move to, I don't know, move to Russia. I'm going to be like, what am I going to be doing in Russia?
What are you doing in Russia?
That's how I felt about Nigeria at the time, you know. But my dad was like, you know what? Come to Nigeria. I want you to go to law school. I graduated as a lawyer, done my master's, done really, really well. I'm a straight A student. So for him, he's like, why
beauty,
don't you
brains, fashion, everything put together.
It's all in one. So he was like, come and do law school, because if you don't do it now, I know you're never going to come back. So I love my dad so much. I honor him. He's literally like my biggest inspiration in everything.
And I think he saw the vision that you didn't see.
He saw everything. He was like, come and do law school in Nigeria, and then you can go back if you want. Coming to law school meant that I was physically in Nigeria, and all our Nigerian clients, you know, who would typically order hair from London and we would ship via DHL, they're like, but why am I having to pay for DHL when you're here? Why am I having to pay for? And I was like, actually, that's true. It doesn't make any sense that we keep shipping hair from London. So I was like, you know what, let me take a lot of bundles and actually physically sell in Nigeria. Yes. What it meant also was that whenever somebody would order.
So that means you actually ship it from your source.
Yeah, we're shipping from London.
UK.
Yeah, so
you first ship to the UK before you bring it down to Nigeria.
Yes, or sometimes we would travel, you know. That's the part that I didn't include. When we obviously found our suppliers and stuff, things went a bit murky. You know how it is when you're dealing with, like, you know, online vendors. They started sort of like mixing the hair, and there was one time they sent us a really bad batch. And one thing about me and Kika is we don't compromise. Quality is everything, you know. We do not compromise, never have, never will. And so that batch, we had to recall everything, and we physically traveled. So we traveled, met that particular supplier, had a go at them, found new ones. You know, we went to different countries. All the different countries that we get our different types of hair from, we've actually physically been to every single factory, you know. Ourselves.
Just be sure of what you're receiving.
Yes. So of course, we'll now ship the hair to London. So shipping to London meant that we would now ship to Nigeria and all over the world to our different clients. But London was our base. We had a salon in London. So me physically being in Nigeria, our Nigerian clients couldn't understand why they still had to pay, you know, £50, £60 for DHL to ship from London to Lagos when one of the partners is here. They just couldn't understand it. And so of course I brought like a lot of hair to Nigeria. But at the time, we didn't have a base, we didn't have a shop. So either the clients will come to my house, which I don't really like, because you don't want random people coming to your house. It's very, you know, or I would have to physically drive to their house
to sell them the hair.
So I was selling hair from my boots.
Will be very clumsy.
It wasn't very ideal, you know. So we're like, you know what, let's just get like a small shop
that we can
just sell the hair from. You know, it wasn't really anything that we had planned for or prepared for. And we didn't really know where Goodhair was going in Nigeria. We had no idea.
And I think that you actually operated at the early stages when very good luxury hair started. And very few people had very good hair, apart from the synthetic hair. I remember coming to your shop and like when I tried your hair, I was like, wow, this is mad and this is different. And of course, the story has been on forever. Wow.
So yeah, from the small shop, because we didn't overestimate our importance, it was a really small shop. And what happened was quickly, it became too small for the clientele. You know, we would have
starting small and growing big
I think is so key. So from Lushmore, you know, we decided to get a bigger space. I kept looking around. Anyone who's gone property searching in Nigeria understands it is not easy.
Nothing is purpose built, so everything is too small,
nothing.
Funny,
too small,
too
funny,
dirty, too in a funny area.
The shape is so weird.
It doesn't work.
It's just too many doors. It's so difficult.
Yes, too many doors.
I found one space that looked exactly like what I wanted. It looked purpose built. It was like the person had us in mind.
Oh, I thought you actually built it from scratch.
So basically, it had like containers, but it was empty. So it was like empty land, but it just had containers, and it was a wide space. And we were like, this makes so much sense, you know. But it was too big. It was just way too big for just good hair. And so I decided that, you know, we should rent out to other businesses, and you know, they could take up space in our space. We have this. We call him Uncle. He's like a very close friend of Kika and I. They had a club at the time called Cocoon. And so me and him were talking, we're having a conversation one day. And I was like, oh, we found this really big space. You know, would you guys be interested? We can't use it all. Would you be interested in, you know, renting a space? And he was like, yeah, sure. We don't mind. You know, we don't have anything in Lekki, so it'll be great. So he came there, saw the space. He was like, it's amazing. But he was like, do you plan on having your salon here? I was like, yes. He was like, so how do you want to do club and salon in the same? And I was like, actually, yeah, that doesn't make sense because, you know, maybe the noise, if we have late clients. I was just like, you know what, why don't you guys tone it down and do something like a restaurant lounge as opposed to...
Was that your uncle's advice was to tone it down?
I was saying to him, why don't you guys tone it down? So instead of having a club, why don't you have a restaurant and a lounge in this space?
Same space.
And he was like, we've never done a restaurant before. You two, have you done a restaurant? I was like, no. He was like, let's all do it now. And I was like, actually, yeah, why not? So one thing about me is I say the yes, then I go and figure out how after.
How to do it.
I never turned down an opportunity.
You didn't have the skill to do it. You've never even dreamt of doing it. But you thought of it and you were bold enough.
The opportunity came.
Yes, and you'll find a solution.
I'm always mentally prepared. I'm like, yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'll find the way around it.
Yeah.
You know. I'm very good at interior. I love interior. I already had like pictures of restaurants saved on my phone. There's a particular restaurant that I really, really loved in Dubai. I had all the pictures saved, and I just always said to myself, if I ever have a restaurant, I want it to look like this. So I already had an idea of how I wanted Boston Copper to look like.
Thingy, because your restaurant has a black fusion.
I don't love light. I only like light when I'm taking videos and want my pictures bright.
Of course.
Other than that, I don't like light. I love it when a space is like dim and, you know, just like mood lighting. That's my thing. So yes.
Cool vibe.
Yes. So that explains like the lighting kind of vibe. And then just the black and white, the plants, all the stuff that, you know, you see in Brass and Copper is an idea that I sort of had just from way back when.
So that means that the Brass and Copper is a partnership.
So
three people.
It's a partnership, yes.
Yes, okay.
So I called Kika, I was like, what do you think? Do you think we could have a restaurant? Of course, like I said, Kika's easy going down for anything. She's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. You know,
yes, I think if I remember back then, you were always the one you could see who was measuring, checking, looking, and truly, Kika was like, okay, you want this? It's fine. Let's go. She was just looking at the finished product and nothing else.
She's like, oh, Auntie,
but
how far?
you were always very...
And I'm like, is this straight? Are you happy with, you know, so we're very different, but that's what makes our partnership so beautiful.
It complements very well.
It just works. So she's there easing you, making you relax, and you're enjoying her company. And I'm just at the back making sure that everything's perfect.
Is working, yes.
So I might come across as the unfriendly one, but really and truly, I'm just chasing perfection.
Funny enough, thinking about it, I don't know. Okay, I think I was close to you because I had known you through a mutual friend. Yeah, if not, she was very much friendly in the store than you. We couldn't even see you. You're always doing something, busy doing something. But let me go take you to the next question. How has your legal knowledge and your background, how has it helped you in building your businesses today? Like, how did it work for you? Were you able to use any of your knowledge in promoting your business in any way or form?
Honestly, I feel like being a lawyer is my biggest blessing as an entrepreneur.
Me
because
too.
not only are you so detailed about everything, if you have any contracts, you know, of course, whether it's like property or employment or just anything,
Whatever,
any partnerships you get into, you need a contract for every single thing.
Yes.
So first of all, we save money because, of course, I can
and
do
even
it.
if you use a third party,
And even if I use,
you are intelligent and you know what to look
you cannot
out
cheat
for.
me as a lawyer.
Yes.
It's not possible. Nothing can go over my head. Nothing can go past me. I'm going to catch it even before you realize it, you know? So it makes me so much more meticulous, I feel, than a person who might not have a legal background. And it's not to say that if you don't have a legal background, you're not going to be meticulous or not catch things.
It's just an advantage.
But what happens is I'm always on. I'm always switched on, you know, I read between the lines, the fine prints, you know, whether it's in physical copy or even just in reality, I'm just always paying extra attention.
Just hearing what you're saying, I think when people have asked me or interviewed me for just how is my legal background, how is it affecting what I currently do, I say the same thing. I said, my legal background is the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I sit on one table, I'm able to look at the legal perspective, the commercial, and the subject matter all in one sitting. I don't need a lawyer to come and represent me and start interpreting what are they saying and all that. So it makes it easy, faster, and of course, as you said, you can read between the lines and you know when somebody wants to do something funny or cheat you or whatever it is. So you are very, very prepared. And people may think, oh, you're just talking, but it transcends beyond so many things that you will see even into the future and makes you very empowered and powerful. And even for the things you don't even see, because you have knowledge and you have the legal standing, you can stand when they have issues, because of course Nigeria has bunch of issues. It's coming from LRS, FRS, and all that. When they want to do any of those funny things, you know your rights.
Yes.
You know where so you assert yourself.
Completely.
Your documents are complete. So where are you coming from? Show me, and if you can prove it. And most times when you do that, you see them, they're wrong. If you're enjoying this episode already, I want you to take a moment to please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave your aha moments in the comment section below. We would love to engage with you. Okay, let's get back to the show.
Of course.
They don't come back.
Of course.
Because there's nothing to show.
Always, always. And this is with everything, you know, we've had so many run-ins with just always one thing or the other. And sometimes, even as an entrepreneur, and then now me being a public figure now, it makes it, you're always a target. They're always going to come to you for one thing or the other, you know, but with my legal background, I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Bring it on.
I'm assertive enough to be like, it is X, Y, Z, you know, by the time, my confidence, my courage, everything, as you said, they scribble along.
Yes, before you know it, they just move.
Scurry away straight away.
And they look for the next
It was
victim.
unfounded in the first place, you know, so I can never be a victim of those sorts of things. And, you know, it just allows me to be inquisitive enough as well. People say, oh, you ask a lot of questions, but I don't I ask questions for a reason.
Yes, for a reason, exactly.
I want to know the entirety of that situation. I don't just
going
dig into one aspect or
blindly,
just enter blindly. No, I'm going to ask the future questions or in the now, you know, so it's really helped. I'm very grateful
for reading law, but people will not understand what we enjoy. But
yes.
But as you said, we're not saying that if you didn't read law, you can't run a business.
Or maybe.
But it helps you a lot.
And I always wanted to be a doctor, which is so weird because my mom's a doctor.
Oh, no, I never wanted to be a doctor.
I wanted to be, you know, as a child, you kind of want to be what your parents do. So I kept saying, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a doctor. Yeah. And then I would just always be asking questions. And I was always so inquisitive as a child. And people would be like, just, madam, go and be a lawyer.
Did you like science?
No, I didn't. I hadn't even started science. I didn't know
just
what science
was.
I just wanted to be what my mummy was. And, you know, she looked so cool in her office with her lab coat and her, what's that thing they put in their ear?
Stethoscope.
Whatever it's called. She looked so cool. And I was like, oh my God, I really want to be this. But that would have never been a good path for me.
No.
Judging from who I am today, my personality, no. Law was always it.
And your hair will get into all the people's lungs. So let's not go there. Now we are looking at the multifaceted Chioma Ikokwu, from a lawyer, a business owner, a serial business owner, and now the foundation, the GoodWay Foundation. How did you birth that idea? Why did you start it up for women who were underprivileged and for children too? Why did you start it?
I mean, how it started and what it is now is two completely different things. It always started from my passion for sickle cell, which is so weird because I don't have sickle cell, but my partner at the time did. And just watching him suffer, you know, there was nothing he could do about it.
I hope he's okay.
He's okay, thankfully,
Okay.
and he will remain okay. We're not together anymore, obviously, many years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but at the time, just watching him suffer, and we
Yes,
were
I've
in
had
England,
friends,
so he had every single facility available to him, but he will still suffer because it's just one of those illnesses.
You must go through
You have to go through the pain.
the bone pains.
The pain.
Are
And I was
just
like,
endless.
and I was like, why do parents keep putting their children in this position? Because it's something that is actually avoidable.
Yeah.
It's not a disease
It's not
that,
cast
you know,
in stone,
you could,
it's caused by
It is
wrong
caused by-
pick,
literally.
whatever.
And so I was like, you know what, when I do come to Nigeria, I want to go into some of these rural areas and just educate people. It was just something that I was passionate about, and I thought, you know what, let me do this.
And it makes sense because they are the ones who fall victim because they don't know anything about genotype.
They're ignorant, they're not aware
at all.
of how it works, you know, genotype, not mixing certain genotypes, but, you know, this is our country. And that's why it's very prevalent in, obviously, West Africa.
Yes.
And I think our terrain as well
Of
just doesn't
course.
really help with the genetics.
Yeah.
You know, so going into these areas, seeing these people.
And did you get to see people with
Of
sickle
course,
cell
so many.
amongst the
Some of them don't even know what it's called. They don't even understand.
Okay, they don't even know what it is, but they just know they suffered.
They say things like, oh, my child is Obanje, you know. Or
Oh,
they'll
they
say,
still say that up to now?
Yes.
Oh my
100%.
God.
Or they'll say, oh, spirits, you know, the child is unable to, or they'll say the mother sometimes. They'll
Oh
blame
my
the mother.
God.
The mother's a witch. She's unable to have children
Children
that
that-
last. All her children
Yeah,
died
keep
before
dying.
the age of 10.
Oh, I thought that was an old thing and
It's
it
not
has
an old
stopped.
thing. They still do it. They still do it. You know, if you go like deep into the
I know
rural
what you
areas, they have
mean.
these issues. And sometimes they would maybe like banish the woman out of the village or, you know, just treat her as an outcast. All sorts of things.
Just for something that's just
Something
a
that she
genotype
is not in her
issue.
control and she just
Exactly.
doesn't really understand. But if you really
Sanitars.
think about it, what is the most important thing to a poor person in Africa?
It's food. So knowledge about science
food,
is just
it's
not.
water.
And many of them don't even go to the hospital.
They're not even educated.
Yeah.
Education is a luxury. They cannot afford it. Hospital is a bigger luxury. They
don't
even if
even
they
go
wanted
there.
to, they can't afford it. They're not even developed enough hospitals in their areas for them to go to if they had an illness or anything. So they're really stuck. They're just actually stuck
So
with the
they
knowledge that
lack
they have.
knowledge. The knowledge is the biggest
Completely.
problem that they have.
Completely.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was important to kind of go into these areas just to educate them, talk to them about it. We also would bring like, you know, medicine from London, folic acid, just a few things that they
Okay.
actually need for
Yeah,
people that have
folic
sickle cell
acid.
to give them and just educate them on, you know.
That's beautiful. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. I mean, I had one of my best friends growing up who was a sickle cell from when we were like kids, babies, 2, 3, 4, till we became teenagers and got married. But she's late now,
Did
and
she
I
die from
watched her
sickle cell?
die in the UK. It's so I understand what you're talking about because I've seen it firsthand, and
Right.
I've taken care of her all through as we're children. We'll run and go and blend ugu. I don't know if you know
Yeah,
ugu leaves that they
yes,
use
yes.
because I mean not all the time you use the
It's good
tablet.
for iron,
Yes,
yes.
it's iron. So I go to my house because she's so weak. I go from the playground. We go to the house and blend ugu leaves and give to her to drink just for her to be a bit better.
Yeah.
And she suffered bone pains over and over. So what you're doing is actually extremely beautiful, I can tell you, and continue to do such beautiful work.
Now with the GoodWay Foundation, we didn't just actually stop at sickle cell, even though it was the driving force, you know, but going in, seeing a lot of like poverty-ridden areas, I realized that we could do a lot more. God has blessed us with these resources that I feel is not necessarily by our doing, no matter how hardworking you are and how
Yes.
focused, there's still that divine grace that plays a
Gives
big
you,
part.
yes.
And so I just feel like what we've received is also due to others. And then so we delved into so many other areas, you know, poverty alleviation, education, healthcare. But I think the one that is most passionate to me, which I've done quite a bit of, but I'm going to really go into now, is empowering women.
Okay.
Women in
Making them
business.
financially stable.
Financially secure,
Okay,
financially
security,
stable.
okay.
I don't want women to feel like in order to start a business, I have to find the
A
next
lot of-
man that's going to provide
Oh,
for me.
no way.
No. But that is becoming the norm. And it's not to say people cannot have their boyfriends that do things for them
yes,
and stuff. It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
I don't judge anybody for what they do. But that cannot be your only option. You should be able to walk into a bank, get a loan, and not be harassed for how beautiful you are, or how, you know, your
how you
slit is, or your
present
skirt, or how you present
yourself.
yourself. It can't be about that, you know. And I feel like that's something that women suffer from, that men don't really have to deal with.
Exactly.
If a man walks into a place
bank,
or a meeting, they're going to take him seriously if he has the right ideas.
And says the right thing.
But for a woman, even if you have the right ideas, if you're beautiful and dressed
and you
nicely,
put yourself together,
it almost works against you. You know, people might say, well, yes, you know, people will take you, no, you have a higher opportunity, they'll take you seriously, they'll listen to you, not without asking to be your boyfriend or to have a sexual relationship with you. I genuinely feel like that is something that women go through. And
definitely, that happens.
100%. And so with the GoodWay Foundation, I want to use that platform to create more opportunities for women to get access to finances for their businesses, you know. And so we've done a few, you know, in the past, something we call Fund My Startup. So it's the Fund My Startup initiative, and that's, you know, we have a bunch of women come, they bring their business ideas forward, we go through it, we vet it, pick the most feasible, or, you know, the ones that
they're serious about,
and we fund their businesses.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So where do you pick a particular area in Lagos, or is it national? Where have you started?
So some we've done on social media, and those ones basically transcend the entire world. But, you know, we tend to pick people in Africa just because I feel like they don't really have access to resources, whereas people in America or in the UK,
definitely not.
how much is the interest on loans? 1%, 2%, you can go to the bank. But in Africa, it's just so much tougher. No one's going to pay 21%, you know, in interest rates. It just doesn't. How much is your business making? So we've done some where we got participants from like Uganda, Kenya, South Africa, obviously Lagos, Abuja, and we picked winners from all over. We've also picked certain areas in Lagos that we've gone to. This is like on a smaller scale.
Okay.
So women who do small businesses, like, you know, have like a kiosk where they sell provisions, or like they, you know, sell food, or they want to start a fashion business, so we get them like 2 or 3 machines.
So you have donors who fund
a
lot of these programs for you?
The majority of it has been self-funded, if I'm being honest.
Self-funded, okay.
Yes, for the most part.
So you give back to the community?
So I give back, but when we do the Fund My Startup, I try and get 1 or 2 people here and there, but the majority of it is me, and that's why it's on such a small scale. But I hope to take it bigger, get sponsors from all over,
and get grants too.
Get grants, then we can now obviously do it on a bigger scale, help more people and bigger businesses.
The most important thing is you have the dream, and now once with the dream, you will be able to scale as quickly as possible. Well done, well done. We need more of this. We need more people talking like this. We need people who will be empowering women, especially. As I say, you feed a woman, you feed the entire community. So that's the impact that you're looking towards. Now, as I mentioned before, Chioma is a woman with different faces, and now she is currently a reality TV show star in the Real Housewives of Lagos. How did you think about that? Because, okay, I know Chioma likes the public eye, but to an extent, but why media? What made you go into that?
I didn't go to it.
And guess what? I watched it. They show about, or you, which one?
Both.
This is like asking me a question in my own show. What did I think about the show? It's fun, a lot of fun. You will laugh a lot. But sometimes I try to struggle between the fact that is it reality, or is it a game, or are we playing? So that's my own feeling. Sometimes some parts of it, I said, no, they're definitely acting. This cannot be real, because these are real people. These are people I see, and some of them I even know. So yeah. But your own part on the show, so I can't tell whether it's really real. I think that's where I'm coming from, or it's all a show. So that's where I come from. Then now on your part, let me remember so I will not be biased. But for a friend, I will always say that you did well. So I don't really know what they look out for in reality TV, really. But for me, it was fun.
Yeah.
People's fight was even fun. I know people say it's not so good, but it was fun. Because I think if the reality TV show mentally thinking about it based on the viewership and what they pay for and everything, if it's not interesting, there's no need having people just be in the house or talking to each other and doing nothing.
Right.
So really, I think you really did a lot to make it fun, and the fashion was deadly. I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
100%. Your fashion was on point every time, every day. They were teasing you about the fashion, but I didn't care. I like more. More is
But
beautiful.
see, now everybody's doing more.
Oh, well, seriously,
People
sis,
criticize
trust
what
me.
they can't do.
I
or
like
can't
more
be.
when people say that people. I like people doing what they like to do. People also say I do more. I dress a lot.
Yeah.
And I know some people do not want to say some things in front of me that maybe I dress too much.
Right.
But I don't care. I've even had people who have said that, and I say, "Oh, is that true?" I say, "Oh, trust me, I'm coming back again.
Yeah, I'm gonna do.
I'm
even
coming
more
back
next
again."
time.
So I don't really care. People have different expressions of themselves. We can't all be the same way, same thing, same thing. The world would be extremely boring. That's how I see things. So that's my own philosophy. We are the first person asking me a question on my own couch, and I'm going to throw it back to you and turn the seat around and go back to where we're coming from.
Right. How did I start reality TV? It wasn't something that I looked for. It wasn't even something that I necessarily wanted. Like I always say, when I first got approached with it, I was like, "Are you sure you have the right number?" I was like,
"But they called you?"
Yeah, I got called
Yeah.
up. Oh, we would like you to come in for a meeting. It's about reality TV. I was like, I don't do reality TV. I was like, I'm a private person. That was not the first show that had approached me either. I'd been approached like maybe 4 or 5 times to be on different shows, all of which I turned down. Just because it wasn't really my thing. I'm a public-private person in the sense that I take fancy pictures of my nice outfits and I post, and that is all I do. I don't necessarily delve into, my day-to-day, every second.
Yeah, because that's what it will be.
It wasn't really something that I'd ever even given any thoughts. So I declined it. But they sort of kept coming back, asking, and they somehow managed to convince me that, I would be right for the show.
Did you look at the brand as something? Because at least it was
It's
a
an
global
international brand.
Yes.
It was a global brand. And I was like, you know what, worst case scenario, at least you get a bit of international exposure, which in turn will help my businesses. Because that's all I was thinking. I'm all about the money. If it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. I'm not interested. So I was like, you know what, a bit more visibility, especially internationally, wouldn't hurt my brands. Goodhair is an international brand. Brass and Copper, even though it's based in Lagos, of course, when people fly into Nigeria, they want to go to Brass and Copper. So for me at the time, I wouldn't say that it made sense, but I was like, do you know what? Why not?
Why not?
If
Just
I don't
try
like it, I don't have to come back for season 2.
Exactly.
My family,
you're not forced.
It was. I didn't have a gun to my head, and my family were okay as well. They were half were like, hell no, you can't do it. No way, not interested. This is not you. And then the other half were like,
go for
what's
it.
the worst? They were like, what's the worst that can happen? If you don't like it, just don't do another season. And so I did it. Did I like it? Did I love it? There are pros and cons of being on TV. Now the pros, of course, you get a bit more visibility, so that can help your businesses or any endeavors that you actually decide to go into. You also allow people to see more of you. And I think for somebody like me who was very much take a fancy picture, post,
and close.
People thought I was so uppity and so stuck up and all of these different things that they assume you are when you look a certain way. So it kind of allowed people to delve more into my life, a little bit more of my family life, who I am as a friend, as a human being, as a boss, all these different things. So I kind of liked that
part.
The cons of reality TV in particular is, first of all, you're not in control of the edits.
You can't control the narratives.
And that starts from the edits. So if they
edit
you
out
to
things,
look, it's as simple as one statement. If you give me half of the statement, it can mean something completely different from if you put the full statement. So edit, you're not in control.
I heard a lot about that.
Yes, edit, you're not in control of, meaning that you're not in charge of the final picture, meaning that you're not in charge of your own narrative. Whereas before, I could decide, okay, this is what I want to show, blah blah blah. Now, not only is it whether I want to show it or not, it could be the opposite of who I am.
Exactly.
And a situation could be interpreted the complete opposite of what it was in reality. That is something I don't like. Also, I think what I wasn't really used to was so many people having an opinion about my life. I'm someone who's in control of everything that I do.
And private too.
I'm private as well. Like my family, my businesses, everything. It's literally just me. I'm in charge, or it's just that's just it. And then now you have
people having to comment about every part of your life.
My goodness,
I know.
it is ridiculous.
I don't think I will survive that.
It's ridiculous. And then privacy as well. Sometimes.
And it's difficult, but people don't know.
Oh, people don't know. Even the
space,
even the
space.
time that it takes to show up and be that person is unbelievable. Filming what you see for 5 minutes could have taken literally 5 hours to film that small scene that is 5 minutes long. It probably took 5 hours. The preparation, the cut and start again. It's a lot. It's a lot. And for me, as a business woman and entrepreneur, I like my eyes to be in my business. I want to be there. I want to know what's going on. I wasn't very used to the distraction of having to do anything else.
Extra things, yeah.
So managing all of it, I think I was going crazy.
Literally.
It's just been a lot for me, honestly. It's been a lot.
Well done. I think you did it afraid, and I think you did it well. The truth is, people would not know how they will fare until they are put in the same position. But they can always make comments from outside. But let them be put in the same position. It's not fun. It's just like putting yourself in Big Brother. It's another way. Like in Big Brother house where everybody's talking about you and it's the same feeling. Just that is, I think that's forever. The Big Brother house is forever, whereas this is a very short period where people stay together. Am I correct? Join us on Omo's Couch, where inspiration meets action. If you are a remarkable entrepreneur or a career giant with a unique story to share, we want to hear from you. Become our guest on Omo's Couch and empower others with your journey, experiences, and valuable insights. Use the link provided in the description below to apply for yourself or nominate someone who deserves to be on this show. Let's inspire together.
Yeah, well, it depends. Sometimes we film for like the last season, we filmed for so many months, which is just too long for me. First season, I think it's like 3 months that we filmed for, yes.
So it's kind of longer if you ask me.
It's actually longer, I feel.
Much longer. Okay, let me take you to another question. Your entrepreneurial venture spans across multiple continents. Could you elaborate on the unique challenges you encountered while establishing a global presence for your businesses, and how did you overcome it?
So the funny thing is, I don't really feel like we experienced that many challenges anywhere else but Nigeria, if I'm being completely honest. Obviously, Goodhair started in the UK, didn't really have any issues. The only probable issues we had was in terms of like dealing with suppliers who weren't in the same country. And of course, sometimes you can't really monitor what's being sent to you. So of course,
so that's a quality issue.
So quality control issues, that. But of course, us traveling and physically going to these different countries kind of like solved that. The only other, I mean, it's not really an issue per se, but because the system is so organized in, you know, the UK or the US, sometimes people, so clients might be funny. They might purchase something from you online, you send it to them, they go to the bank, they do something called a chargeback, which is where they just ask for their money and they lie that either they didn't receive the product or the product wasn't up to scratch.
Wow.
It's all a lie.
That happens?
That happens.
Wow.
And then you find yourself fighting.
But this is not Nigeria.
This is not in Nigeria.
This is international.
So I'm saying the only probable issues that you would experience.
And that's a crazy one. How do you even fight that?
Do you want the truth or a lie? Because sometimes
you just have to let the money go.
No, sometimes we have to go gangster. We'll go to their house. Kika will pull up, knock on their door, bring their hair back because you want to be funny, obviously.
Are you serious?
And they'll be like, "Oh my God, you came! All right, here's the hair. Sorry." Yes, people do funny things like that.
You're joking?
Yeah, because I mean, Goodhair's luxury, so it's not the cheapest. It's expensive. So they pay £1,000 online, get the hair. In fact, there was one girl, she'd already installed the hair. Well, like, why did you do that?
You have to pay. She didn't know.
She took the hair because she didn't have the money. Well, she already got the money back, so the bank had already sent it back to her.
Why didn't you make her pay since she's wearing the hair?
She was like, I haven't got the money, I spent it.
Wow.
Kika was like, remove it, cut it. They had to take the hair out. We collected the hair back and we left because you cannot take our money and then take our hair, our product. Of course
both
not.
of them at the same time.
You know, so they do funny things like that. And because the bank is so consumer friendly and liberal.
Yeah, because in Nigeria they will ask they will ask you too many people questions.
Yes.
Before they take out money from your account, they would ask you what's going on.
Yeah, it's very hard to, once money's left an account, it's very hard to get it back in Nigeria, whereas internationally you just file a complaint online or something, and then they just
say anything that will make sense.
And then they get their money back, and then they're still rocking your product. So initially, you know, we used to be so upset because the banks wouldn't give us back the money, and then until we started going gangster, and then we would announce that, listen, if you try this, we're going to come to your house because we've got your address.
Oh my God.
And they stopped doing it.
It was good I didn't try that with you.
They stopped doing it.
Okay.
But in Nigeria, I think it's just everything, you know, from logistics. I think electricity is the biggest issue. Us not having lights as a country and having to buy a generator, pay for diesel, get an inverter.
So those are your major
extra
challenges.
costs in the first place.
Have you been able, so how are your businesses now? The Brand Cooper, the Chioma Goodhair, the new business you just started, Chioma's Closet. How are they all doing? Are they doing well, even with the economy right now?
I think the economy is affecting everyone, you know, especially if you have a product that you import into the country. And of course, with hair, we have to bring it in.
The exchange.
It's extremely difficult because every single day it's a different price. And how do you increase the price of your products when people's salaries are not being increased? You know, who are you being unfair to? Your clientele that's been loyal for so long. It's not very nice. So what happens as a business owner is you end up getting less profits. You know,
less profit and less demand.
Less demand because now
the purchasing power is lower.
It becomes lower by the day with the state of the economy, and you know you're getting less profit. So you start to think, what is the point doing business in Nigeria? It's just so difficult.
But now I would like to ask this question. You know, I don't even know. I mean, our viewers have been listening to Chioma Goodhair. I think one of the greatest things I have taken from this discussion is the fact that she's a true businesswoman, and she does multiple businesses, and she's thriving in them regardless of the economy. At least you're still there, you're keeping, keeping faith, doing what you have to do. And of course, nothing bad lasts forever, as we see in the business world. And she's hoping for the best, and so things would improve and the business margins would improve too. So somebody who is starting up a business, and I would say hair business more than all the other businesses that you have, because is one of the greatest symbol of who Chioma is. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, the Chioma Goodhair brand. How would they be able to start now and even into the future? Let us not even look at the economy. What are the tips that they need to know? Young entrepreneurs who are going into the business of hair or luxury hair or just normal hair, whatever hair, how would they start? What should they know?
I think sometimes people overthink things when it comes to businesses, you know, and they feel like they're just all these different criterias and steps that are required, and I get all these messages.
Like this lady. I like this lady. People want to understand. I don't, because we share the same sentiment. I never prepared anything when I was doing business over. And I thought I used myself as an example. But I said, okay, maybe because I started 20 years ago, my time, there was no social media and all that. So I just do that so that people can not feel bad because they talk about setting goals, setting games. I never really did that. But I'm hearing somebody I'll just put you in the Gen Z bracket.
Hey, I wish
still saying the same thing, and she's thriving.
Honestly,
it's not, sometimes it's just grace.
If I were to put it in plain words, I'll say it's not that deep. It's serious, but it's actually not that serious. I feel like we've glamorized business and entrepreneurship, you know,
so
where we look so fancy and we dress so well and it looks so proper, and everyone's taking all these pictures
and the names and everything
in their office, and like, oh, CEO this, CEO that. Sometimes CEO, you're the only one in that company. CEO of what? Do you understand? So it's like, it's just not as complicated as people make it out to be, you know.
I mean, we're not saying that you should not put up your goals, know what you're doing, and focus on all those things.
You can have everything written down,
too serious
what you plan.
On those structures.
But if you're so focused on the how and the
structures that you want to put in place without
I want to be perfect, you're never going to start. Because it's very hard to even get to that point without starting. And even with Chioma's Closet, I don't have a physical office, you know.
Or a store.
It's my office now, just next to my office. We have a little space and we have all the clothes displayed there and all of that. And for my brand and who I am, I could have got the biggest space and had the biggest launch party and everybody will come, and it possibly could have started thriving immediately. But guess what? As fashionable as I am, I'm not yet in the business of fashion. I don't really understand the business of fashion. So I need to make my mistakes. I need to start small. I need to grow. I need to learn. I need to build it up into what it's going to become. You know, and because of who I am, I really could have started big and just freestyled it, and it could have worked, but it also might not have worked, and I was not willing to take that risk
and lose a lot of money.
So for me, or even my reputation. So for me, I was like, let me start small. Let me start online. Let me make the mistakes when no one can see and no one's watching. And trust me, we are making a lot of mistakes.
That makes sense. I hope people are listening.
We are making a lot of mistakes. There's so, like, I'll give you an example. Logistics, DHL.
Yeah, I'm going to say
I don't really understand
how it works.
The money that I spent paying them off.
DHL.
I'm undercharging and overpaying because I just didn't really understand the dynamics. Whether it's the kg of the outfit not really matching, it's a lot. So my point is, start small so that you can make all these mistakes that you need to make, and then you can now grow and then start announcing, and this and that and all the fancy things that I feel like a lot of people are chasing more so than the actual business or the business acumen.
But looking at that, your DHL issue, just a quick solution, if I got you right, you need to separate the shipping cost from the actual item.
It's separate.
And it still was an issue.
It's separate, but if I charge, let's say for instance, one outfit is 1 kg and I charge, I don't know, let's just say 20,000, and then when DHL brings the bill at the end of the month, it's 35,000. I'm like, where's this coming from? The item does weigh 1 kg.
The disparity.
I'm like, what is this disparity? And DHL says something like, it came up to, by the time we put our own packaging on top, it came up to 1.2 kg, and this is a different fare. And I'm just like,
so you now have to recalculate.
But I don't want to go back to my clients to be like, oh, you know, extra, that's on me. You know, I should have given them a complete.
So you just have to keep working on the numbers.
So it's just little things like that, you know, and even with clients, it's just so much. But it's tiny things that nobody could have told me this. I could have never known this. I had to experience it.
By experience.
So from experience,
learning by experience.
I'm learning
Experiential
by experience.
learning.
I'm learning on the job. I'm an entrepreneur who's done this for 15 years. I'm still learning today. So if you want to start, you can do it afraid. Don't expect everything to be perfect.
Exactly.
Don't feel like your social media page has to look so fancy. Do you know what the funny thing? I said to a girl that I met on Saturday at an event. She just started a business and she actually like does popcorn, and her popcorn tasted so good. I was like, oh wow, where's this from? And she was like, oh, it's my business. And I was like, oh wow, this is so great. I was like, I haven't seen you create any content since you've been here. And she was like, I'm so afraid, like I don't even know where to start from. She's like,
serious?
I don't know how to make, I'm thinking of hiring. I was like, hiring what? For pop? I was like,
For
girl,
popcorn.
take a picture of the
Take your
popcorn that I've
phone.
eaten. You literally have your audience here.
Exactly.
Everyone's enjoying your popcorn. Just do a
Take the
small video.
picture.
Just be like, guys, are you okay?
Exactly.
Is it okay if I make a video? Just make a video. And if you're shy, because not everybody is bold enough to be like coming in your face with your camera, your product is literally
Speaks
the
for
answer.
yourself, yes.
Take videos of your product as you're making it, create it into a simple reel. You don't even need InShot or CapCut or all these fancy. Instagram on itself, if you're making a reel, it gives you the template already.
Yeah.
All the random little videos that you've made, put it into your
together.
Instagram reel.
And
That's his content. If you have one party and you make 7 different videos, keep posting it. Scatter those 7 videos around your page.
And start
post it and
breaking
repost it, because someone might be on your page today. They didn't see it last week. This is the first time they're seeing it.
Interesting.
So keep posting and posting and posting, and that is how you get your clients.
You know why
It's
I'm
just not that
laughing?
difficult.
Do you know why I'm laughing?
Why?
Do you remember when I sent you a chat maybe 2 years ago and said, I want to start doing some good stuff on social media? Do you remember?
I remember, but I don't remember what I said to you.
Can you tell me how to get the cameras, get this, get that? Then you sent me a response back, and I can buy it in this store, buy this at this store.
Oh yeah.
Like
the
cameras
camera
and
TVs
lightings and
stuff,
everything.
yes.
I still have the text message.
Yes.
And so I remember, yes, you actually assisted me, and that's how I started.
Oh,
That's how I started the whole doing social media thing, not for the show, but for other social media stuff before now. Yes.
That's really good.
Yes.
That's really
Because I
good.
saw the quality of your videos, absolutely amazing. We don't have a lot of time anymore. I would have loved to go into the fashion part. I don't know if they still can spare me time. Fashion, your clothes, the pictures. I think I would ask. My viewers want to know. I want to know. How do you create the time to go to Mexico, Cancun, America, Miami, different countries of the world, and you're taking amazing pictures? How do you do it? Because if you even I mean, as you post the pictures, a lot of people want. I mean, as far as the fact that they're loving the content, looking at the clothes, looking at everything, people want to know, how do you do this content? How?
I think for me, I'm quite lucky because I have a nice social life. You know, I try to create balance, my social life, my businesses, everything. And so whenever I have an event or I travel and I'm, you know, going out or exploring, I turn it into a content opportunity. My free time, I allow it to be my free time.
Who takes the pictures? Simple question.
Anyone around. You cannot be my friend and not be able to take pictures. And if you can't, you're going to learn. You're going to learn. So anyone around, even my mom takes my pictures, my dad takes my pictures, just any human being that I'm with, even if it's a taxi driver, if I'm alone, any physical person I see is going
I actually thought you'd had one person who takes the pictures every time.
No, I mean, if I'm in Lagos, my assistant can take my pictures. But if I travel or, you know, I'm somewhere that my assistant isn't with me, anyone can take pictures. It's actually not that complicated. Do you know what? A lot of people don't clean their cameras. And I feel like that's why they get ugly, blurry pictures. They don't clean their cameras. If you clean an iPhone, you're going to get solid pictures. Even a Samsung, you get amazing pictures, probably even without cleaning.
You're a brand influencer for Samsung, am I correct?
I have done some work with Samsung.
Okay.
I've also done work with Tecno. So all the phones are great, to be completely honest with you. They're all, it's not even about the phone. Just ensure that you have a clean camera and make sure that your angles are good. Try and make sure that you, especially if you're into fashion and you're the highlight of your picture, make sure that you're in the center of your picture. Make sure that, because some people take pictures and then you're standing at the side. That already makes the picture ugly. I need to be the focus.
The middle.
I need to be in the middle.
Focus. Okay.
I cannot look too small in the frame because then the focus will now be everything else around me.
Okay.
I'm the focus. I always say to them, I don't care about what's around me. I need to be clean. Also, make sure the environment of the picture is clean as well.
Chioma Goodhair. Well done, well done, well done. Thank you so much for coming on Mama's Couch. And I'm sure my viewers have heard it all. Chioma, the powerful boss lady, doing extraordinary work around the world with her brand. Well done for coming to our show. So I'm going to go to the fun segment of this show, and we're going to be asking her a trivia question, just one trivia question. You don't have to get it, you can get it. It'll be wonderful, but it's something for us to
Oh my God,
laugh.
I hope it's not too hard.
No, it's not too hard. One question, but the question goes like this. In what year was the Naira adopted as Nigeria's official currency? What year?
Can I have two answers?
Yes, you can.
I want to start with 1960 because that's when we got independence.
No.
Is it 1963?
No.
Should I go forward or backwards?
The last chance, go forward.
1969?
Wait. I want to do something for you.
Okay.
Add 10 years to any of the two figures, just one of the two figures you mentioned.
1970.
Nah. It's
1973.
1973.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That far in?
Yes.
So what was it before?
You were asking
Pounds
me?
and shillings?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So when did we have cowries? I remember like
You're
cowries,
asking me?
whatever.
Was I born then? I'm not that old. But yes, it's history.
Okay.
Of course, pounds, shillings was what we're using
Yeah.
for the later part. Then, of course, then the Naira.
Naira, okay,
in
so
1973.
1973.
Which was,
Interesting.
yes, correctly. It's quite late thinking about
Considering
it.
when we
73 is
got our,
not just
so
too
when we
far.
got our independence, we still
We're
had
still
the
using, yes.
That's ridiculous.
Interesting. Well done, well done. I remember that's why they said when people were traveling abroad, in those days it was just
It was
£1,
like
£2. So it was,
okay,
yes, that was why
yes,
things were very
yes,
cheap. Was
yes.
the same currency we're using.
To be honest, I would like us to even go back to that because what is happening with the Naira at the moment is very scary.
So Nigeria will not have its own currency because of the.
I want
pray for Nigeria to fix their currency so that it's at par with the international world.
I mean, it's going to take a lot of work, but I think that anything is
there.
possible.
Yeah.
I really feel that we can.
Yeah. Chioma, with all the work you do, with all the businesses you've been opening and you're still doing, do you have time for a relationship? Now, before you leave this couch, tell us who's your boo.
That would be telling.
Chioma, that is interesting. Thank you so much for coming. I enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching Oma's Couch. I'm sure you're eager for another inspiring story. So click here to watch another episode or click here to subscribe. I will see you in the next video.